So it looks like the Supreme Court is buying itself an additional 4 weeks of time. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. And before we even get into the topic of what's going on with the market, what is it that I'm paying attention to this week? Nasdaq market did sell off, but is quickly beginning to recover. What was reported today? So today was the date that, again, because it was postponed last week and then it was postponed the week before that the Supreme Court was supposed to rule on Trump's tariffs, if they were going to be legal or illegal. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court declined to rule on Trump's tariffs on Tuesday, implying that a challenge has to signature economic policy and will likely take another month to resolve. This court is ready to take a 4-week recess, and the next possible date for a ruling, not where they have to decide, but just another one of these days where they can also postpone it even further, kicking the bucket down the road, February 20th, 1 month from today. Now, again, these are our tax dollars at work. They expect all of us to be efficient and effective in how we do our work and our jobs. But for them, they can just continue to kick a bucket down the road when, again, we are trying to understand what is set to happen. Maybe it's just me that takes it this way, but it's just you've had weeks to decide if it is legal or illegal. And that's when it hit the Supreme Court. I mean, you could have formed your opinion prior to that. Nonetheless, another 4 weeks. I wanted you to understand that, yes, it did get postponed. And yes, it's an additional 4 weeks that they're supposed to follow up with. And that date is February 20th. Because of this, initially markets were already in the red. And it's not even just so much because of Trump's tariff decision for the Supreme Court, but it's with what's going on over the weekend, right? Trump is serious about wanting to buy Greenland because he sees it as a geographical benefit for the United States, where it would be better for us to have it than for Russia or China. That is what I've understood. I'm not here to agree or disagree. I don't care about your political view. I know you don't care about mine. I'm just here to explain why the market is trading the way that it is. Why did we see the gap down? Because Trump is leveraging tariffs to negotiate with a bunch of other NATO countries to allow him to work towards the purchase of Greenland so China and Russia do not get it. That is why the markets are truly selling off. And although they did slightly begin to recover, again, we are testing the same kind of pre-market or overnight hours previous support acting as new resistance. We'll see. If we break above the zone right around 615 for QQQ, maybe we see some upside potential. But if we get rejected here and we break below this support right around 612, then we have another leg down to 607. And then after that, it's going to be lows of 600. The thing that I loved most about today was Bitcoin's sell-off. Bitcoin falls under 90,000 as $190 million is liquidated from the crypto market in the last 60 minutes. Again, this is just a little bit of a pullback. The people that are being liquidated are the over-leveraged crypto bros that cannot tolerate a 5 to 10% pullback because they're using 20x or 40x leverage. So it's not that they physically can't tolerate it or mentally, it's their platform, because of how much leverage they use, their liquidation price is around 5 to 10% of wherever it is that they purchase. That is why so many crypto bros continue to lose money over leveraging themselves. So you guys know that I don't support crypto. I don't care for it. Nonetheless, I respect your right to buy it. If you're going to buy anything, especially this speculative asset during an uncertain time, do it, but do it with cash. Do it without leverage. It doesn't make sense that if we do continue to enter an uncertain time, that you're going to over leverage yourself with the speculative asset that's inherently risky just to get liquidated. When in doubt, either stay cash or don't use leverage. With that being said, it's not all markets that are dropping. Silver saw a huge push, rising above $95 an ounce. A lot of people, again, are talking about this as it being a great investment. I think it's a great trade. It's not a great investment. Silver is not a good deal at $95 an ounce. Long-term speaking, silver will eventually crash. People like to compare it to gold, yet they don't understand the utility behind silver. Very simple. I have a video on it where I go into detail, but for those that did not watch the video, silver, over 60% or nearly 60% of its use is industrial. It's a precious metal precious metal that is used as an actual, conductor of electricity. They use it for solar panels, for, these AI chips. Nonetheless, 60% of it is utility based off of that demand. Gold is not. Less than 1% is utility based. Majority of it is jewelry and a precious metal that people like to invest into during uncertain times. Gold also pushed up to highs of 47,000 for the first time in history, but gold is cyclical. It goes up when markets go down. There's a difference. Do not compare gold to silver if you don't actually understand the utility behind it. Silver is kind of gaining some momentum, or has gained a lot of momentum as a comparable to gold. It is not. It's a very hyped up precious metal right now, going through a momentum spur. Eventually that will fade. And if markets begin to correct, silver will crash, not gold, because gold is cyclical. It goes up when markets drop. Silver will crash because a majority of its demand, of its value, is based off of industrial. And if we enter a recession or an uncertain time, demand will slow, meaning demand will slow for actual silver. On the utility side, 60%. Again, I wanted to make sure that you understood that so you understand the difference. This does not mean that silver is a good short right now. It is still incredibly bullish right now, right? We've talked about it before, where if you look into silver, let me pull it up here real quick. I had the silver-based ETF, SLV. It's been incredibly bullish, and people are talking about possibly wanting to short it. If you look up silver spot price, silver is right now at like $94, $95 per ounce. I think it could hit 100. I think that's very likely, and I think it could break out after that. In the short term, silver is bullish, which is why I think it could be a good trade for those that have experience and know how to manage and mitigate risk. The reason I don't think it's a good investment is because if you look at silver, especially on the larger time frames, there's huge retracement potential, and silver is trading at an extreme value right now, which again tends to be short-lived. We talked about it. We talked about it with MSTR when it pumped and it dumped. Now people listen, but now it's too late because people have lost 50 to 60% of their value, right? We talk about it with all this hype when it gets factored in. Yes, it looks great. You want to jump into it until you don't, and then it comes crashing down. When hype is present and momentum is present, let it push. It's until we get that confirmation of a reversal that then it makes sense to short. And silver just isn't there yet. It's still incredibly bullish. And again, it could still make a good trade for those that know how to manage and mitigate risk. It doesn't mean that you need to force a short or to think that it's a good long-term investment, because it's not a good value piece at 85 per share for this ETF, or at 95 per ounce as of right now. I traded two different stocks today. Let me go ahead and pull it up. CoreWeave was one of them. Had a lot of fun shorting CoreWeave over the weekend, so I shared it with you guys on Friday. If you guys didn't watch that video, I uploaded a video on Friday where I showed I only had a $30,000 position on CoreWeave. I added more to it during the pre-market session because it was an open short. I was making money as it was losing value. And as pre-market sessions opened and it hit highs of 96.60, I opened up a short, added more to it during normal, session hours. And as it sold off to lows of $93 and $94, I began to take profits, and I walked away with $6,000 on the day. I left myself with my one lucky share, and that's it. So I fully closed out this short. Other than that, the only other position that I have now opened today is QBTS. This is high risk. I see it as a high potential reward. I can be completely wrong, and I'm okay with that. I'm down about $2,000 on this trade. I literally just opened it a few minutes ago at this overbought range. I see it as an overbought reversal, and I see there to be decent downside potential. Like I said, I like sharing both my good trades and my bad trades. That's what my LPP team, the people that get to watch me trade live every day, that's what they love about my videos and my live streams, is that I just show what it is that I see value in, regardless if I'm right or wrong. I share my intention, I share my reason, not for you to copy, because that's not what I want you to do, but so you understand my thought process. So overbought reversal, my average price, just so you could see, my average price is right around $27.85, so right around this general area, and I have about $125,000. So I do plan to add more to it when it does begin to sell off and we get full-on confirmation. I'll probably go in with double, about $250,000 as direction becomes favorable. The thing that I really like about this is that there's about 8% downside potential. But even if I capture 4% of that, I would be very happy, especially once we get confirmation. If we get confirmation, I double down on my position and then maybe take profits right around that pre-market support range of around $26.70 to around $27, right? When in doubt, never be afraid to cash out. The other big focus that I have right now is just paying attention to QQQ. As long as it kind of stays bullish and elevated, it gives the rest of the market the environment and the condition to stay bullish. But if this thing begins to sell off, then the rest of the market, again, is given the environment and the condition to also sell off. So again, by paying attention to the Nasdaq, I can understand the sentiment for the rest of the tech companies that I'm choosing to trade. But like I've said before, if you want to watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow, we have a big discount for you, and it's the second link in the description down below. It's my LPP team. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. We have members that signed up back in 2018 that still watch me trade live today. So if you want to join, second link down below. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.